Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be replacing the wheel bearings on this Chevy HHR. Let's get to it. So using your 19 millimeter, we're going to go ahead and remove the hubcap and then remove the steel lugs. Now with the wheel off, we can go ahead and remove the rotor and brake caliper bracket with caliper, all from this. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. There's 2 bolts on the back holding the bracket on and 2 bolts on the caliper holding that on. After that's removed, we can go ahead and then just slide off the rotor from the hub. So let's go ahead and find out what sizes those are and take that off. All right, so the 2 caliper bolts right here are gonna be 14 millimeters. And the caliper bracket bolts, which are back and behind here, I believe this one right here, and one down below right there, are going to be 15 millimeters. So let's go ahead and remove those. Now with the brake caliper bracket and caliper off and the caliper being hung so that way the hose is not being stretched, you can go ahead and remove the rotor by just pulling it out. Our rotor is very simple as it just comes straight off, but not all rotors are like that. Some rotors take a hammer to beat off of this. So, but you're gonna be replacing the rotor anyway, so whack away, and so hopefully it comes off. So the next steps for removing the wheel hub, essentially 4 bolts hold this in the rest of the way. You got the one in the front. This is the one that goes on the CV axle. Ours measure out to about a 30 millimeter. It's on there very nicely. It will come loose. If you have a standard or American socket, lots of times they work as well. But we're going to have to remove that. After that, we got 3 bolts holding on the hub right on the inside here. Sometimes they're kind of a pain to get to. This vehicle, it looks like it's not too bad. Once we go in there to remove those, we'll find out what size they are, but first we're going to work on the CV axle, and we're going to get this nut out most of the way until it gets right to the end, and then we're going to leave it on there so that way we can then use the hammer to peck it loose so that way you can get the splines out of the hub, so that way when we're ready to take that loose, it's not going to be hard. We're going to be using a Milwaukee 1/2-inch drive. I would definitely suggest an impact of some sort because this is a pain in the butt. Otherwise than that, if you're going to attempt this, make sure the vehicle is on the ground first, and then take the hubcap off, which should expose this nut. Take the 30 millimeter while the vehicle is still on the ground, use a torsion bar, breaker bar to then break that loose. Otherwise than that, like I said, use some pneumatic gun like an impact or a Milwaukee 1/2-inch to remove that, like we're going to do. And there we go. We were able to take the nut off of there with the washer. Yours might be integrated together, but this one was separate. And now we can go ahead and work on those bolts on the back of the wheel hub. All right, so we went ahead and found out what size these are. These are 15 millimeters. So like I said, we got one here, got one here. We got one on the other side over here. So we can find it here real quick. It's right about there. So there's those 3 right there. And then one thing to note is we do have this little piece of metal in between, sandwich in between the two. Last times there's a dust cover, so I'm kind of surprised that there's not a dust cover here. Maybe someone's done these before and didn't put it back on. But just to note, there might be a dust cover on yours, not just this weird little bracket like ours has. So we're gonna go ahead and remove those. Hopefully we might not need a swivel, but if we do, we'll use it. And we're just gonna use a long socket with our ratchet. All right, quickly, we removed all three of those bolts. We just did that with a 6-inch extension, a long socket, and our ratchet. So now we can go ahead and use either a slide hammer or a very large sledgehammer. You're gonna pound here or slide hammer it out. So my slide hammer is unfortunately too large for this, so I can't use it. So I got the 5-pound sledgehammer. We're just gonna pound right here and see if we can get it to bust loose. If not, we might have to get a chisel in here to unfreeze it too. And there we go, just like that, she is out. Boom, just like that. So one thing to note is that yours might have anti-lock braking system and yours might not. This vehicle does not have anti-lock braking system, even though I think the ones that we ordered have the anti-lock brake system hookup. So we might have ordered the wrong ones, but we'll see once we get the new box opened up. So the first thing we need to do after this has been removed is we got to clean this up. So use a wire wheel with a drill or something, clean up all this corrosion, especially if you live in the north like us. And then we're going to use some anti-seize to throw in there, so that way the next person, if this vehicle makes it to the next person to replace these, won't have as hard of a time to replace them. So we're going to clean that up off camera and we'll come back after it's all nice and clean. All right, so the hubs that we got are from Detroit Axle. I've had good luck with Detroit Axle, no issues really with them, so I like to use them. They're also a fairly good price. If you want a better brand or anything like that, you can go with Timken or Moog or something like that, but these are great. I'll have all those linked in the description below, so you can go ahead to my Amazon store and go and pick up yours. But the wheel hubs are the same for either side, but there is one difference that you need to look out for. Actually, might be two differences. So we got some that's for anti-lock brakes. Our vehicle actually does not have anti-lock brakes. I thought it did, so I ordered some that did, but you can order them with or without the anti-lock brakes. They are interchangeable. And then there might be some out there that have 4 lugs versus 5 lugs, so you might want to keep an eye out for that. And then also, I think for manual versus automatic transmissions, I think they are the same. But overall, these are the wheel hubs we're going to go ahead and throw in the vehicle, and let's go ahead and take them over there and start putting it on. All right, so we got the anti-seize. We're just gonna go ahead and lube this up all around. My dad already cleaned this off with a wire brush, so let's go ahead and get this all inside there. Don't forget your dust cover or the piece in between. Slide the sensor in. All right, with the sensor through, you can go ahead and put it on the axle. Spin the axle till it seats. Might need to give it a little persuasion here. And now you see me just hammering and pecking this into place. After I get it set into place, I can take those 3 bolts on the back side there
and kind of just cinch them in until it pulls the hub into the knuckle. That's a slow process, especially when there's a lot of corrosion inside of the knuckle, but just take your time, it will get the job done, and then we'll just tighten up that CV axle at the end. But yeah, it's just slowly going in right now.
All right, so this was tight. I will definitely admit that we did pack around here while tightening up these 3 bolts to get it to slide in to the knuckle. It did seem clean enough, so I don't think that was any issue. It just was a tight fit, but everything is cinched all the way down. Everything's still looking good up here. Didn't hit any of the studs. And now we're just gonna use a 30mm to cinch this down. So we're gonna go do that now. So now with that cinched down, the wheel hub is now replaced, and putting everything back together. If you need to plug in your sensor for your ABS, please do that. But we can go ahead and put back on the rotor. We got new rotors, new brake pads, new everything going back on. If you want to catch that video, you can go ahead and click that above. Otherwise not, we're gonna go ahead and fast forward through all that, and we can go ahead and finish this job. And we'll see you back when the wheel's on and we're on the ground. All right, now with the wheel torqued down, I just did that. We're gonna go ahead and put on the hubcap. There we go. And there we go. Wheel hub is now installed. Everything should be good. No more whining noise of what we had on the vehicle before. Everything should be a lot nicer and no more noises that, just shouldn't be there. As I mentioned, we also did the brakes and rotors. We also did the struts, shocks, and sway bar links on this vehicle too. You can check out all those videos down in my channel. If you need any of the product that we used on this video, make sure to click the description and click the links down below to actually go to my Amazon store to purchase that. If you need anything else, just make sure to add a comment. Like my video if you found it helpful, subscribe to my channel. But anyways, until next time, thanks for watching.